Welcome to the video. In this one, we're going to talk about the Z1 Analyzer and custom traces. So custom traces are a great way to allow you to display data channels either combined into the same trace, or custom channels, or math channels. So it's very simple to do. We're going to show you how to create one and how to display one in the Z1 Analyzer. So let's get started. So here we are in the Z1 Analyzer. We have a couple of laps loaded and we're looking at some traces. So these traces you can change just by right-clicking on them and choosing from one of the traces available here. And there are around 100 or so traces that come standard with the Z1 Analyzer. But there are times when you want to make your own specific trace, and that would be a custom trace. So that's what we're going to do here. So we go to Traces and we choose New Custom Trace. So a custom trace can have up to 4 lines associated with it and can be composed of any of these channels. So this list of channels here is all the default channels in the Z1 Analyzer. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, you also have various math channels if you've created any custom channels that you may have created, because those can also be displayed in a custom trace. So for this example, we're going to do a simple one. We just want to display the brake and the throttle on the same trace. So for that, I'm just going to call this brake throttle. And I'm going to want to have 2 lines in my trace. So I'm going to choose this to be 2. So now I have this first line and the second line. So in the first line, I'm going to choose brake. And then in the second line, I'm going to go down here and choose the throttle. So now I have the brake and the throttle in my trace. And you can see what it looks like here in the preview. Now, one thing I want is I don't want blue as my brake color, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it red. And I have green for my throttle, so that's fine. Then we have decimal places. So this is when I'm clicking on the trace, how many decimal places is it going to show me for the current cursor value. So for this trace, 0 is fine, because I just, 81%, 82%, etc. is fine. But you can have up to 4 decimal places depending on what you're showing in your trace. Then we have this option here, convert units. So this determines how the units are displayed. So right now we see this units, and brake is 0 to 100. And we can see here, the range of it is 0 to 100. And then we have these things are in like millimeters or miles per hour. If I uncheck this box, then the units are in whatever the default unit is for the data channel. And it's not converted to what you have chosen as your units in the Z1 Analyzer. So this could be useful depending on what you're showing. But for my purposes, I don't want to see things like this 0 to 1 or meters per second. I want to see them as 0 to 100 millimeters and miles per hour. So I'm going to keep convert units checked. So now I have, I have to find my my new trace, my custom trace, given it a name, told what it should be, the colors, all that sort of stuff, and it looks like this, so that's good. So I'm going to click the Create Custom Trace button. And my trace is being created, so wonderful. So now down here, the question is, well, how do I show it in my layout? So I'm going to put it right here, this timing. I'm going to change this. So I right-click on it, and I can go to Custom Traces, and my trace I just created, the brake throttle, is right there. So I'm going to select that. So now, here's my custom trace in my, my layout. And I can save this layout or do whatever I would usually do with a trace using this custom trace. And you can see the cursor value here is 0 for brake and 100% at throttle. And there's no decimals because we did not specify that in the trace creation dialog. So one last thing, if you want to edit any existing traces, you can go to Edit Custom Trace, and here's a list of the ones that are available, and you can just double click on it, and now you can edit that if you wanted to. I'm not going to, though. And another quick shortcut, you can do custom traces and add or create a new one or edit right from this menu if you want to do that. So I hope this has been a useful video explaining how to use custom traces in the Z1 Analyzer. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel because we're going to be having more videos soon. We're going to discuss things like math channels and scatter plots and histograms and other features that can be done in the Z1 Analyzer. So thanks very much, and we'll see you in the next video.